Yeah, welcome back to the M365 FM podcast. We explore here people, technologies, and ideas shaping the future of the Microsoft 365 Power Platform, Azure, and AI world. Today, we are diving deep into one of the hottest topics in the Microsoft ecosystem: Copilot Studio, AI agents, and intelligent business automation. My guest is Nilüfer Doğan, a platform developer at the International Atomic Energy Agency, where she designs AI-powered solutions using Copilot Studio, Power Apps, Power Automate, AI Builder, and Azure AI services. Through her career at organizations like Siemens, Bosch, BSA Home Applicants, and the EAA, she has helped to build enterprise-grade applications, automate complex business processes, and empower citizen development through mentoring and workshops. In this episode, we explore how Copilot Studio is evolving far beyond traditional chatbots, how Azure AI Foundry, Azure OpenAI, and AI Search are enabling new generation of intelligent agents, and what organizations need to know to move for AI experiments to real business value. Whatever you are, a Power Platform developer, solution architect, IT leader, or simple curious about the future of AI-powered business applications, this conversation is packed with practical insights and real-world lessons. So grab your favorite beverage, sit back, and enjoy my conversation with Nilüfer Doğan. Yeah, welcome, Nilüfer. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Minko. First of all, thanks for having me, and I'm really glad to be here. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah, uh, you work for the EAEA. Can you tell a little bit about what you're doing there? That sounds really
Yes.
like rocket science.
You already explained what I'm doing there, what kind of technologies I'm using there, but let me explain a bit. I work there as a 365 platform specialist, so my specialty and my background totally aligns what I'm doing right now. I am mostly creating Power Platform and Copilot Studio solutions, like creating agents and applications for internal processes. So this is I work for the team which just aims digital transformation within the organization. So that's it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and uh, yeah, I think I see your academic background is in economics. I think that's not the
Yeah.
normal way to this Power Platform and AI development. How did you transition into Power Platform and
Yeah.
AI development?
When I tell people that I graduated from economics, this is the first question that comes to mind. How you switched there, why you switched there. And actually, before I graduated, I realized that I don't want to work in the economics field. And then I start to get some courses about data science. Then at that time, data science became a bit famous, and everybody wants to work in the data science field, and that's why I get some courses and I try to find an intern about data science. And I think my career change just began with this idea, and I was a bit lucky because I get an internship in the BSH in that way, and I started a data science project student. I worked there for 9 months, and after that, I realized another technology is arising, and I talked with my manager, and of course I wasn't sure what this field and what can I do there, but my manager offered me, do you want to work on this? And I searched about Power Platform and Power Apps, Power Automate, and what we can do there, and do I interest with these technologies? And then I realized that I really loved what Power Apps and Power Automate do at that time, because I was very interested with UI, and instead of just doing hard code things, I was into just doing something simply and writing little code. So this is low code, no code platform, and this was totally aligned my interest. And then I switched to actually there. So my start point was being a data science project student, then switching to another team, which is Power Platform. Yeah, it started that way.
Yeah, awesome. Um, how has your economics background influenced the way you approach technology and automation projects?
Actually, while I'm studying in the university, I got lots of statistics courses, and at that time, I realized that I really love analyzing something and also um, just approaching to this some issues. And when I face something during my work, I can use that background, I think, but I cannot say, of course, 100% I'm using economics background, but of course, a bit of learning process of courses and attitude and tradition in my university just shape myself and my personality and also my way of looking to the issues that I am facing during the work and while solving the problems, then I may tell in that way it helped me.
And um, can you tell us how did a typical day look like for you as Power Platform developer working with AI solutions?
Um, actually, I experience different kind of days of Power Platform developers day. For now, actually, I am just working by myself, creating applications, and sometimes helping other people who are not coming from the technical background, but they want to develop some agents or some applications. I also help them, and we may call them like a citizen developer, and yeah, mostly helping the citizen developers and also working on my own projects and my own tasks. I may tell in that way.
Yeah. So let's a little bit deep dive into the Copilot Studio topic. So many people still think Copilot Studio is just for building chatbots. What's the biggest misconceptions about the platform you see?
hmm I think misconception is people think like Copilot Studio is a very intelligent something, and they can write the instructions and it should work for them. Uh, and that's enough, but that they are thinking in that way. But I think this is the misconception that people think they can solve everything with agents. Sometimes some demand comes from the client side, and when we talk the pain points, I understand that that is not that cannot be solved via agents, that can be solved via applications or power pages or just with power automate. So I think misconception starts from first of all deciding which product for which purpose. They couldn't sometimes understand. The people cannot sometimes understand this, and so navigating to wrong direction. And another thing is people think that they are really intelligent and just writing simple instruction will be enough, but it's not like that. We have to construct the knowledge part and also tools and also automation all together became a good agent. So sometimes they are thinking, okay, I just write the instructions by helping by getting help via some chat tools, some AI tools, and that's enough. But it's not working at the end of the day. So I think these two parts are the misconception about Copilot Studio.
Yeah, I'm a little bit overwhelmed with the updates on Copilot Studio. I think there is, I nearly feel every 3 day they roll something new out.
Yeah.
Can you a little bit explain how Copilot Studio evolved over the last month?
Actually, over the last month, there were lots of updates, so I also struggled to just keep up what's going on, what kind of new features arise, and which one would be valuable for me to learn. So I'm still just try to catch up. Also, there were some big events like Microsoft Build, and the output from this event was very important, and we saw lots of important features there. I think it's going to be like in the previous time, we were just telling everything else and just doing the whole configurations and adjustments inside the Copilot Studio, and that was creating that became the agent at the end of the day. But now I'm seeing that it will be enough to write the instructions in a good way, and if you write the better instructions, if you structure it very well, it will be better. For example, they changed the UI of the Copilot Studio, and for now they just kind of switched the topic and also the topic with the skills. So in skills, you should write the good instructions to be sure that agent will behave very well. So I think it's going to be a bit just describing what you want very well means you will have the uh, good quality agents at the end. I think it goes in that way.
Uh, and why are especially enterprises suddenly paying so much attention accurately to AI agents?
Um, my first and sincere answer would be, of course, there are AI trends, and people really understand that there is a train, and this train is going, and we have to just jump into the train because we should catch it. But this is the first thing I think that they are just try to get into this field and want to have agents. But another thing, people understand that they have some manual things, and the world we are living is just the world we may uh, make automatization, and also we can get rid of these manual works. So that's why after they try some AI tools, they understand that we need agents. We can create this internally. So this is the beginning part, I think.
And what will you say is the difference between an AI agent to a traditional AI chatbot system?
Actually, between AI agents and chatbots, there is one difference, and the main difference is uh, in AI agents, it can decide based on what we give to that agents. But for chatbots, it was like you have to tell every steps and decision. You have to just configure the whole decision map, and in that way chatbots act like what you defined, so you were telling the all things to the chatbots and just doing manually in the background all things. But for AI agents, you are describing what you want, and if you describe it well, then it behaves in a way you like, you want.
Oh, yeah. And did you think should organization choose Copilot Studio over custom AI development, or normally okay, it depends. But can you say when use Copilot Studio and when a custom AI development?
Can you elaborate on the question? I didn't get what you mean with the custom agents.
Yeah, I think we have this. Also, we have Azure AI,
Mm-hmm.
especially.
Okay,
So
okay.
where the difference and when choose what?
Mm-hmm. Um, I think it varies on the cases, and when you, as an M365 specialist, I may tell that when I talk with the client for a project at the beginning, and when I analyze the project, uh, I see some functionalities they want, and sometimes I know from my experiences like this can be solved just via Copilot Studio. But sometimes I understand this should be tried, and if we couldn't solve this, we may move on to Azure side. So if for me, actually, I start with the Copilot Studio and try to find the workaround solutions sometimes. And in case I cannot solve it, I switch to Azure. And another thing is, if I think the another main criteria that defines where to go for any scenario is if they are working with a huge amount of data. then that should be first of all cleared and should be structured in another place. So in that kind of cases, mostly we have to switch to Azure platforms and use the Azure AI tools.
Hmm. Okay. Have you or can you tell us a real case scenario for Copilot Studio you have developed?
Yes, I can, but what kind of scenarios you need? I have lots of scenarios and I couldn't think which one I may explain. Um, d- yeah,
Only when you're allowed to tell about it.
okay, okay. Um, I may tell I may tell one agent. Yeah, okay. Let me tell one agent. Once I created a Confluence agent, and these agents were helping for the people who are searching some knowledge inside the Confluence, and it needs both indexation of the documents which are listed inside the on-prem Confluence. So that's why I had to use the tool from Azure sites, which means that I have to make indexation and rack inside the Azure and make it as a knowledge source and use it inside the Copilot Studio. Another thing in this project was defining the permission level of the people and the group. So by retrieving the data from Confluence, also I get the permission levels and permission groups, and then uh, I put as a variable inside the indexation. In that way, when people ask some question, if they don't have access in the Confluence, they couldn't get the answer. Both permission level issues solved, and also they can easily access the information without just scrolling the page and trying to find it within lots of documents. So this was the one of the real case, and I think it was nice because it was the first project for me that I retrieved data from on-premise system and make it a structured way and also make RAG from there.
Yeah, that's interesting. What did you think are the biggest strengths or limitations of the Copilot Studio today?
Actually, for me, recent change sometimes can be confusing, and I couldn't decide where to solve the cases because I think there is no way, not only one way for some cases. So sometimes it can be hard to just decide which way I want to solve this. Do I want to use the tools? Do I want to adjust the connector and use inside the topic? And do I need any other agents for that kind of questions? It can be sometimes confusing based on the cases. So there is no only one way for some cases. So you can solve it with three different way. So that kind of cases can be a bit complicated, and decision making can be hard. But beside that, I'm just thinking, for example, for me, UI change is a bit hard for me because I also surprised when UI of Power Automate change and I have to switch back to the previous version and always. So UI change also makes a bit can be a bit challenging for me. Um, and also, I think sometimes, especially as I saw in the citizen developer, they cannot address what is preview feature, what is experimental feature. So they create project and in some way they publish it in the prod environment, and that can be sometimes difficult to just handle those things. Yeah, that's all I guess. That comes my mind.
Yeah, awesome. I'm a little bit thinking about, or I read a little bit and look what you do, and there is something I found really interesting. You spoke about the combination of Copilot Studio with Azure AI Foundry and AI Search. What makes this combination so powerful?
Actually, before Azure AI search integration comes to Copilot Studio, and also some knowledge source wasn't developed well at that time. So making RAG for big amount of data was quite hard. For example, people have 1,000 or 2,000, 3,000 documents, and making indexation and getting quick response from the agent was quite hard. So those combination were bringing rack solution, and via this rack solution it was both getting more much better answer and in a more quick way. So this combination brings this, but for now for now also it is valid for big amount of data. Making indexation inside Azure is still valuable.
Mm, mhm. That's really, really cool and interesting. Can you a little bit explain how you architecture a modern enterprise AI agent?
Yes, I can. For me, actually, I am not a solution architect, but since as a developer, we have to make it sometimes by ourselves. Then I follow a couple of things. Like first of all, I analyze the project that I get and which steps I will follow, which technologies I will use. If it needs some POC process, then first I try the POC. Then later on decide which tool I will use, which way I will go, and then later on I create one template for myself and just visualizing everything. Where the data source will be and how I will configure this, how I will create the permission layer. I decide all of those and then I start to create project. Yeah, I can tell in that way.
And we have also, I don't know, think if everyone knows this. Can you a little bit explain what Azure AI Search is and what role it play in intelligent agent solutions?
Mhm. Azure AI Search is a place, a tool that you can index your documents, and indexation means that uh, indexation and vectorization is done via Azure AI Search at the same time. So that means that if you have 30 documents in normal, if indexation doesn't exist, if you are using it directly, then it means that. It just read the whole page to find the relevant information. But suppose that your information in the second page. So when you make a indexation and when you use Azure AI search, it just go to the second page and find this information. Or if this information similarly just mentioned in the third page, it just look second and third page and do not skim the whole page, each page, and doesn't spend a lot of time. So it's both increase the quality of the answers and also you can get easily answer within a couple of not minutes but less than that. So yeah, that's nice.
And what role did re, uh, retrieval augmented generation play in this kind
Mhm.
of your work?
Uh, yeah, retrieval augmentation, actually, uh, retrieval augmentation and indexation and vectorization are whole process that works together. Actually, I may tell. Let me explain you in a more better way. We have documents, lots of documents. We are putting in a vector database or one database. Then this is just divided into sections. This is the chunks, and then via large language models, which communicates and also create the response. Via this, we get the response, and whole this process, vectorization, chunking, and indexation, and creating response via LLM is RAG. So this is the whole process I talked about actually.
Mhm. And what did you think? What misconceptions do organizations commonly make when they implementing RAG?
Sometimes, okay. I think, yeah, they even they have little amount of documents. Sometimes they try it, but sometimes it's not necessary to use it. In according to my opinion, you can just solve it easily by just setting as a knowledge inside the Copilot Studio. But another thing is they are thinking if they upload the Excel file or CSV file, it will be indexed properly. But the thing is, they have to select the right database for indexation. So selecting the right database based on the data is also important. For example, if you have Excel-like data, tabular data, then those indexation works differently compared to text-based documents. So this should be also regarded while making graph.
Yeah, I think Microsoft recommended use Microsoft Fabric.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
um,
true.
one of your topics you are speak about is business value. Um, how do you evaluate yeah AI
Mhm.
agent is actually delivering a business value? How we can do it, or how do you do
Actually, this is hot topic, and still, there are some discussions continuing, and so there are a couple of ways to do this. I use some automation via Power Automate that I was getting the conversation history, and in that way I was telling what kind of question ask. And in normal, uh, how much time do people spend without the agents, and it was kind of manual process. But there are some tools like Copilot Studio Kit to see the whole metrics and put the KPIs there. And even you can just tell, for example, this would cost €5 for the process, but we gain 10 hours. So we just gained €50 per day. You can just put that kind of KPIs, and in that way, you can adjust the return of investment and you can see the real value in that way. So I think Copilot Studio Kit is very valuable for this via conversation KPIs, and also for other purpose, for governing purpose. Also, it's nice. So yeah, I would say Copilot Studio Kit and some manual, not manual, but some automatization can be done to detect it. Also, there are some tools inside the Copilot Studio that you can put some metrics in a different way, and you can it can detect it for you. So this is the more easiest way for the people that without just setting up the Copilot Studio Kit, they can also use this. Yeah, there are some ways.
and when you have or I think when you start with a proof of concept, what
Mhm.
challenge you encounter, or did you see when you go to production?
Uh, some proof of concepts just end up like we don't need this, and some of them end up like okay, we need this. Let's just move to create the real product, and so it depends on the cases, I guess.
Mm, okay. What is the role of governance and security, especially by deploying AI agents at scale?
Mm. It is also, I think, hot topic for every company because it's very important for governing and security part. Yeah, this really needs both attention and both effort to work on. Uh, Also, Copilot Studio Kit has some tools, some sub products inside of it, and also Agent 365 has lots of capabilities to govern those agents and detect who created which agents, and do these agents use knowledge or AI tools, or how many AI credits they are consuming. We can detect this via those tools. And for security parts, via admin center, also it can be just banned, or just switch off some features, and in that way it can be controlled. But yeah, for some tools it's not possible. For example, for copilots, M365 copilots agents, it cannot be just prohibited, or just cannot removed, or controlling them is a bit still the issue on the desk. So I may just tell in that way. It's a bit complicated actually, and it needs more attention and more effort to work on, and to understand, because I think there are some misconception also about these people do not give importance to the governance and also security. They're just using everything, and they are not looking where they are giving their data, what they are doing. So these are really important things.
Mm. You're also uh, a power platform developer, and my question is: we have Copilot Studio and Azure AI Foundry. Is there any reason for to use longer Power Apps or Power Automate, or let's just say more diplomatic, how are Power Apps and Power Automate changing in the age of AI?
Okay. Some people believe that Power Apps will not exist in the next feature, maybe, but I am not sure actually. They are evolving. Of course, they are evolving to a more intelligent way. For example, there are web apps, and via web apps we can create the applications easily, and we can customize this. So I think the way they are evolving is not a bad place. Actually, I would say that not a bad way. It's actually in a good way, because if we write our description, if we write what we want very well, then we can create something within a minute. Then we have time to customize it and work on it, and add more important features, and work on more security and governance also. So it will give us time for those kind of things, and those are really important, I guess. So it's evolving in that way.
Yeah. And what are some, I say, practical use cases where AI agent and Power Automate work together?
Um, Actually, to be honest, I didn't been in a projects where I combined those two very effectively. I've been in some projects, but I don't think that they were the best case to combine those two. But there are some options, like sometimes people need to see the user interface with the white screen and interact with it. So sometimes navigating from agent to applications could be possible if they need more interaction in the user interface, or if they want to see the table, some statistics and some values. Then in that way, it can be integrated. But as I said, I didn't involve that much.
Mm. And uh, okay. Um, I think a little bit about yeah, what are good candidates for AI powered automation? How can we identify processes that are good for that? Or how do you do it?
Mhm. How do we? I didn't get the question. How do we define the AI projects? I didn't get.
How did you identify processes that are good candidates for AI powered automation? That's my question.
Hmm. I I don't know. I didn't think any case for this. I
Okay.
couldn't give it. Sorry.
Uh, what? Then another question is, where did you see the human in the loop or human approval? What role did this, yeah, still play in AI-driven workflows?
Um, I think for a serious decision, of course, agents shouldn't take the decision, and sometimes, of course, for basic tasks like creating tickets or some basic approvals, these are very straightforward, and human in the loop scenarios are valid for those. But uh, there are some scenarios which are really important. To involve the human, for example, expense reports and those kind of cases, and also if we need to escalate to the C level, then for that kind of cases we need another approval before we address it to the C level. So for that kind of cases, human in the loop became really important.
Mm.
uh, so yeah, I can differentiate in that way.
Okay. Um, let's a little bit look into the Power Platform. What will you say is the most underrated, yeah, feature in the Power Platform for you?
Wow, that's good question. I didn't think about this before. Hmm, I'm thinking. I think responsive design make me always like that's good at the end of the design, because you can use it either in the tablets or either in the laptop or in the phone. I really love this feature. So I think responsive design makes me always excited.
Yeah, you're an MVP, so you have this. You get all the information more earlier than the normal humans like me. So what what did you think is coming, or what's the future of AI inside the Power Platform ecosystem?
I cannot declare the whole information, of course, and also I am not getting lots of information. But yeah, in my opinion, beside being an MVP, I meant that it became like we have to be a person who can understand from security, governance, and whole concepts together. Because as a developer, if we skip some parts, then it became really hard to understand what we are doing. And okay, we developed this, but will this be sustainable? Will people satisfy from this? So to understand those, also we need the security and governance parts a lot. And also we should understand that we have to also we have to have lots of information about the system. For example, when we get the case, we should understand where we should address this and which tool we can solve this, because there are some options, and it's either decrease the cost or increase the cost. So seeing the whole perspective became important in this time, I might tell. So that's it, I guess.
Yeah, I think in your role you have yeah, you have or you can collect a lot of experience mentoring citizen developers. What separates a successful citizen development program from, yeah, a failed ones?
Mm-hmm. Um, I think common things amongst citizen developers is not only citizen developer, but the developer. Some new developers are also doing these things sometimes. Uh, they are just using the AI, and for example, they are asking to Cloud, they are asking to Chat GPT, and then they do what they see, but they don't understand what they are doing or what they are allowing. So. Uh, if they do this, they are not being the good ones, of course, because at the end, when they get some issue, they couldn't understand the concept. And they cannot understand where to start and why this is resulted, from where this is resulted, and that's why I think asking and being very reluctant to the AI response. Of course, I don't say that I also use the Claude and other code tools for this, but I try to understand how we did this, and when I get an error, I am not reluctant to the. I am not stick to the answer that AI gives to me. So this is the important part, I think, for also citizen developer too. But some of them just try to search a bit the forums and check the documentation and try to understand what's happening. Then they became more more better compared to other cases.
Um, in the companies, we have, I say, two MMA fighters. In the one side of the ring, it's innovation, and the other side is governance. Uh, which one wins the game, the battle, the fight?
Hmm. That's also a good question. I think it depends on the company. I'm sure that in some companies, governance wins, and in some companies, innovation wins. If they are very aggressive about just expanding their earning and expanding their project and cycle, then in that way, of course, innovation wins. But for some of them, they became more protective, and they became unwilling to just share all of their data. And first of all, they try to understand why we are allowing this and why we are doing this. And for those, of course, the other side wins.
Okay. Yeah. That I think a lot of IT departments actually, yeah, say a little bit worry about citizen developers because they
Mhm.
think they're creating risk. What advice can you give here?
Um, I think try to call for Copilot Studio case. I may tell that I saw also those kind of cases. People, the organization try to give access to whole people because they want to give to people playground, and they can be able to grow, develop their own agents. That's understandable, but that's quite chaotic too, because to manage all these both need governance and security. So for that purpose, we have environments tenants in the under Power Platform. So they have to manage those environments very well. For example, they should have the test environment, and they should have sandbox environment. If they want to try something, maybe they can put the whole people in those environments. But they, if they see real cases and real scenarios, they may move to development environment. So they have to be stick to application life cycle management very well, and also they should just restrict some features and check the DLP policies in the background, and based on the people, based on the department maybe, or the cases, based on the cases, they should just allow people to use those, and in that way, I think it could be more manageable.
Yeah. Do you think we are moving toward a future where everyone becomes a developer?
I don't think so. Everybody thinks like that, but I don't think in that. I don't think in that way, because uh, everybody can be a developer. Everybody can create an agent, because yeah, this became really easy. You can just write what you want, and within a minute, there are some AI tools that can create application for you. But that's not a development. Development doesn't mean you tell something and it creates something. It means you have to follow also what you created and what's the result of this, and what return of investment you are getting, and whole this process also included in the development. So I don't believe that the everybody will be developer, but I think to be a developer became easier, but I don't think everybody will be a developer easily.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's just, jump in the rapid fire round. I ask you short questions, and you say first what come in your mind. So my first question is, what's your favorite Microsoft product?
Okay. I think Copilot Studio. Unfortunately, I couldn't answer it very quickly, but yeah, Copilot Studio.
What is the one AI trend that's overhyped?
Sorry, can you repeat it again?
Yeah, one AI trend that is overhyped.
One AI trends. Uh, I couldn't think about this, but
And have you one that's underhyped?
uh, I think creating agents within a minute and not under hype. All things about AI is hyped. I guess so. I cannot think it is under hype. So uh, I couldn't think about this.
And Azure OpenAI or open source models?
Um, it depends on the case, so I cannot tell only once actually. But to democratize for democratization of AI, of course, open source, I would say.
Okay, where to get the best Turkish food in Vienna?
Is this real question? Okay, maybe I will say snack donut.
Um, what's the best career advice you ever received?
Um, I think when I get first in my first interview with the in the BSH HR, the lady told I asked the lady like I don't want to work in finance, can but I want to work in data science, but I don't have any experience on this, and the lady told me that, but if you want this, you can do this, and I was like, yeah, why not? So then I became I believe myself more after this interview because it was inspiring interview for me. So not the only one sentence, but I think the whole interview very impressed me. So I may tell that that was also my switch, my career switch. So I would say this interview, but I don't have specific word.
Um, is there have you ever any certificate that's where you say that's the most valuable you ever earned?
When I get P 400, for now I didn't get there recently any certificate unfortunately, but when I get PL 400, it was very valuable for me. I learned a lot while preparing for this one, so I would say that one.
Yeah, and what's the yeah biggest benefit you get from the MVP award?
Um, Unfortunately, I couldn't attend in-person event, but I think even I attend online events like the MVP Summit and the Microsoft Build. Those events were very valuable for me because um, there are really lots of topics going on there, and you even you cannot attend all of them. I have to watch the record later, and I learned a lot of things from those. So yeah, it's very valuable, and I really I want to say the Microsoft events that I can attend.
What's your favorite book, podcast, or YouTube channel or resource every
Mm.
professional should follow or reading?
Okay, I may tell the as a YouTube channel, I just watch lots of people, so I cannot say only one people, but I may tell, for example, I'm not saying just because he is my friend, but I really love Rafsan's channel. and I watch Rafsan's video a lot and learn from his video a lot. And of course, when I see some videos shared in the LinkedIn, I also share. I also watch love Matthew's also blog post. I really benefit from it, and of course, the Power Platform weekly. I follow this a lot, and I read it a lot. So I benefit from this too.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you for the quick fire round. So then it's my last questions. If listener want to start building intelligence agents tomorrow, where should they begin?
Mm, can you ask the question again?
Yeah.
I couldn't
Uh,
catch it. Sorry.
if the listeners today want to start building intelligent agents tomorrow, where should they
Mhm,
start?
okay. Um, they I think the YouTube is really valuable. It has really valuable sources, and it has lots of real cases too. So I think they should find those YouTube channels and try to build their own agents by just following the steps on those videos. And in that way, they don't have to spend a lot of money to learn something or just get a course. They can just follow the steps that's showed in the YouTube videos, and this is the easiest way, I think, because when I start also Power Platform developer position, I didn't know anything, and I was following the steps that is shown in the YouTube videos, and it really helped me a lot because especially some channels are explaining very well why we are doing this and what's the idea behind this. So in that way, they can understand the concept well. So I think they can start from here, and of course, they can get some help from, for example, clothes. But they should be aware that what they are doing, and they should try to understand why we are doing this. In that way, they can learn it quickly, I'm sure.
Mm, awesome. Yeah, so then, whoa, yeah, thank you so much. That was fantastic conversation. Thank you. And I there we have so many covered so many topics around Copilot Studio, RAG architecture, Azure AI services, governance, and citizen developers. Yeah, and yeah, I think it's really really interesting. So I thank you so much. And yeah, for the listeners, you find all uh, links and infos from Nilüfer in the show notes. And yeah, I say thank you so much for being here and spend nearly 1 hour with me. So thank you so
Thank
so
you.
much for all this.
Thank, thank you, Miko. Thank you so much for inviting me and involving me in this series. I really enjoyed. It was really nice. Thank you.